When Houston needed help, we were there for one another. In the midst of the chaos, there is so much kindness. During our darkest hour, we see the true spirit of Texas.
It's Texas, everybody helps out people from Texas. That's just the thing that we do here.
People didn't hesitate to help one another, to risk their own lives. In our greatest times of need, we're there for one another.
First responders were great. They were talking to the boys and trying to kind of get them to escape the reality of things, telling them, oh, it's a fun boat ride, and, tell them things about the boat, and they're awesome. I can't say enough about the first responders.
It wasn't into our home yet, but it had just started to come up our walk. One of these guys from Louisiana with an airboat came by, said, hey, that's your last chance. So we said, all right, we'll take it.
All these people are trying to get out of their homes.
About how many people you think you've helped so far?
Man, I want to say about 40.
We saw them, I said, oh my God, I live like a mile and a half. I saw that, I said, oh my goodness, I got to get down here. I want to help out as much as I can, obviously.
You saw people of all colors, you saw people of all ages, of all faiths in the same situation. And none of that mattered.
This is about my 8th trip today, going back and forth, helping people, from elderly to young people, to animals. People needed help. I mean, we have to come together to help each other. If we don't, then who's going to help us? Make sure there's nothing in the water. Keep an eye on the water, Leandra.
I'm thankful for these guys that came and got us out.
These are all volunteers. This guy's not even from Houston.
I know.
He drove in.
I know, and I'm so thankful.
Whatever was there, now is under the water. I feel like we lost everything, but we still have each other.
I was so in awe of not only the number of people who responded, but the way people responded with such compassion, with hugs and open arms, and holding people's children and comforting everyone.
Her parents' favorite melody, a simple gift of calm in the storm.
I could hear it was kind of getting weird, but it was just something normal to do.
That's what personifies us as Houstonians and our city.
These kids have been through a lot. This city has been through a lot. And to be here, just giving a helping hand, that's what the Globetrotters are all about.
We are just so blessed to live in a community where we just have people with generous hearts.
Everything's bigger in Texas, and seeing this the past few weeks, it's so true.
There's this resilience. There's something about not being set back because of this, but moving forward with a certain kind of strength and determination to not only just get it done, but make it even better.
I just want to give you a hug.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you. We're in this together. We're going to be okay, all right?
Thank you.
We're going to be okay.
When water fills entire neighborhoods and floods all roads leading to them, ordinary people do extraordinary things to help those in need.
They just showed up, and they're just wonderful.
Jody Duell moved from Atlanta to Liverpool, a tiny Texas town most people couldn't find on a map.
When they were saying that the floodwaters were coming through Houston and Cinco Ranch, Liverpool and Alvin and Manville, they were never mentioned. And there is a community out here. My whole community out here looks like a bomb went off down here.
This will give you a good idea just how high the waters got here in Liverpool. That is a baby gate and a stroller on top of this tree. Some items even higher than that. But there's something now higher than the waters ever got here. Spirits have been uplifted by the generosity of complete strangers.
Somehow these volunteers from Antioch Church in California and all over Texas found her flooded home and cleaned it out.
This isn't FEMA or the government out here.
No, it's not. This is not FEMA. It is not the government. These are hardworking people that have jobs that they do, and they volunteer to help people.
You are one who restores lives.
These are the helping hands of complete strangers brought together by fate and humanity.
And they just show up and say, what can we do?
driving through driving rains. But what guided an army of strangers to find the people needing rescue? They simply followed the storm clouds as Harvey moved in and the rising water as the hurricane moved out. But it was social media that organized the citizen response. Now it's devastatingly easy to spot a home in crisis even after the water recedes.
It was not as if someone called and said, we need help here. We were really grateful to see them. He said, we're from Sacramento, California.
Stay to the left to State Highway 82 South Cameron.
Beaumont Port Arthur was a virtual island last week.
This is a sight you just don't see. I'm standing in the middle of the westbound lanes of I-10, completely closed outside of Beaumont. That means help coming from the east is having difficulty getting into Houston.
Even before I-10 reopened, private boats from Oklahoma were in Beaumont and Port Arthur making rescues. Many volunteers simply drove through high water to get there, risking their own lives to save people they'd never met.
The community and the church and the volunteer groups have just been overwhelming.
Standing for Houston, Brendan Keefe with KHOU.
Never been flood, never.
16 years here in Parvin Ravari was so sure she was in the clear.
I don't have any insurance cover, nothing.
They say what hit Houston was something for the record books. But what came next?
We walked in here and she just didn't know where to begin.
Is likely,
I don't even know what her name is.
One of the greatest lessons
This lady right here, this is her 5th home to do.
in kindness Houston will ever know. Second Baptist Church is basically adopting families,
You can go to second.org and sign up for help.
gutting out homes,
I mean, it's to the studs.
prepping them for repairs.
It's gotta be a lot.
Parvin was sure she fell through the cracks. No insurance, waiting on word from FEMA.
All right, here we go. Oh, this is the hard part.
But 1 week later, the cavalry moved in to divide and conquer, to see Parvin through the other side.
I'm gonna come back tomorrow with some plastic tubs to help her store her stuff.
At a time when everything seems up in the air,
Thank you, really thank you. They're really nice. They're really nice. They're really nice.
neighbors seem to be a sure thing.
They're really nice.
It was donated by a church.
From floodwaters to healing waters.
People helping people.
Corporal Reed Clark of the Harris County Constable's Office, Precinct 2, has seen the best of the human spirit. Close up.
I heard people screaming, baby.
Corporal Clark heard baby
right
as he rode on a jet ski down this East Houston street and saw 8-month-old Paige and her mother, Deja Hennix.
I was crying, I was scared.
A boat coming?
Who was present when this video was shot before the water at her mother's house had reached the top of those cars.
She was holding the baby up, and then the water would come up, and you could see her neck and then her head going to the water, and they're trying to get to higher ground.
Corporal Clark scooped up Paige from the seat of his jet ski.
He was like, okay, she's gonna be in a black truck at the front. I was like, that's fine.
Just one tiny issue.
We're still walking up there. We get to the front of the road. It's so many black trucks.
Hours passed.
Yeah, I was panicking. I was crying. My mom, she was scared and crying as well.
Now desperate, Deja and her family turned in their search to Facebook. About the time Corporal Clark was posting a picture of his own with the girls separated in the chaos from her mommy.
It was shared 33,000 times, and it was viewed by over 2.6 million people.
Which worked. Mother and daughter together again.
She is the perfect example of a great mother. Didn't say help me one bit. She handed her baby over and said, help my baby, get my baby out of here.
Rising from floodwaters, the best of us.
Bye-bye.
Boyd Hoopert, KHOU 11 News, Houston.
Probably shouldn't be out here, but I'm going.
As the Dickinson area was flooding during Harvey, the folks at Bayou Animal Services put their own lives in danger to save the pets left behind.
It was chaotic for sure after that Sunday morning.
But Melvin Trover, the shelter manager, went into action, picking up animals during and after the storm by car, on foot, or by boat. They saved around 500 animals.
How were you able to do all that? volunteers. It took us the first day or so was employees, then after that it was volunteers, the community coming together helping us.
So this is our cat room.
He says Shelter Operations Coordinator Sarah Saunders was the real hero behind the scenes during the storm, keeping the shelter operating.
I was picking up animals. I was giving out my cell phone number. I was trying to get people to make sure that they could keep track of everybody.
She held the shelter together during the storm and the days after, and is called the heart and soul of this shelter. Maybe it's because she loves these animals so much.
There's something to be loved. They're a soul. There's something to protect.
The shelter is filled to the brim with dogs and cats again, still being impacted by Harvey because as storm victims find new homes, it often means they can't handle their pets anymore.
What's her name? Coco.
But here they work hard to care for them till they find new homes.
In a working-class neighborhood on the north end of Spring Branch, the Agua Fresca's drink stands are getting a little competition.
Lemonade! Limonada! $1!
From kids, about a half dozen tweens are hard at work mixing up some love for Harvey victims.
We want to donate money so the people that suffered, we're too young for that to volunteer somewhere else.
How old are you?
12, 10, 11 years old, 9.
So we were like, what can kids do? Sell lemonade.
And they did. But would folks buy what they were serving up?
How good is this lemonade?
Good.
It is. On foot, on bikes, and in cars, customers came.
Es una forma pues de ayudar al.
Why do they buy the lemonade? It's a way to help those affected by the storm. In 2 days, the kids who get services from the nonprofit Spring Spirit raised more than $400 in cash under the watchful eye of adults.
Kids who don't have a lot, but have a lot to give. And so it's really neat to see them out here hustling.
And that hustle paid off big time, thanks to an anonymous Good Samaritan.
He pulled out a checkbook and we were like, whoa, he's gonna give us like 100. That'll be good. But he told us he'll give 1,000. But then he gave us a check. We looked at the zeros. He gave us $10,000. This happened. And we thought we did really good.
Most donations are smaller from folks whose first language may not be English, but to whom disaster speaks loudly.
I know that a lot of people lost the houses, and so I need their help because I don't know when the same thing with my house. So,
could happen to you?
Yes.
Life teaches lessons. Granted, not all of them. Latch on so easy.
Bad things happen in life, and we either choose to let ourselves stay down or pick ourselves back up.
Seems easy enough to say.
Life has thrown a few punches.
Until you hear the schooling life's shown to the man who just said it.
You know, let me tell you, I've hit the canvas a couple of times.
This is Orlando Gonzalez, a product of poverty.
I took it as a lesson, you know.
Life's tough. His got tougher. The last 4 years, enough to break anyone.
My son came running down the stairs. There's a fire, and he tended to sleepwalk when he was stressed out. So I'm like, are you sleepwalking?
The day Orlando moved his wife and 3 kids to Pearland.
To quote the inspector, your electrical is golden.
Their remodeled home went up in flames. They rebuilt just in time for life's next punch.
May of 2015, lost my job. Oil industry was struggling.
Overwhelming, but not beyond overcoming. 3 months later, he went back to work.
It was a drastic pay cut, but we still survived.
1 year later,
2016, May 25th.
Life swung a fist again.
That was the hardest day of my life.
Doctors told Orlando it was a complete blockage in a valve in his wife's heart, caught too late to save her life.
She passed away within 3 hours of being at the hospital. That's the biggest blow I've had. That's the biggest blow I've had in life.
Another blow, another lesson.
We get back up and we keep on going.
So when Houston was hit with the hardship of Harvey,
do you know them?
No, no idea.
Strangers.
Strangers, complete strangers.
It's no surprise this expert at handling heartbreak was there to help.
I mean, all they've asked is for help, and as they've been getting in the boat, I've been trying to lighten with humor.
Orlando Gonzalez, his 2 kids and his brother banged the bottom of their boat along the flooded streets of Houston.
Orlando and his family here out this afternoon.
Rescuing families trapped by water where it's never been before.
He's a guardian angel is what he is.
That was from a father this father took to dry land. One of many.
12 families.
Yeah.
More than 50 people.
Yeah.
And some pets.
Yeah.
And you're still not happy with those numbers?
No. I just felt I could have done more.
Moore is sharing the story, why he went to help.
We may have situations that are very hard, but it doesn't excuse us from doing good things in life.
Which might be one of the biggest lessons Orlando's life can teach us. Standing for Houston, Brett Buffington, KHOU 11 News.
Sundays may be set aside for rest, but in the town of Spring, Texas, there is no time for that.
Well, we say we worshipped and now we're doing workship, so.
Pastor Beth Warpmaker,
it's important too,
had already planned a service day for Kinsman Lutheran.
Is Ann here?
And tells some of their members needed help as well. Hurricane Harvey flooded entire neighborhoods.
Not a day for rest until it's done, because the water just can't sit.
Ann Brady's home had 16 inches of water inside. That's since been replaced by dozens of volunteers cleaning it up.
All these people, you realize how good of friends you have.
It takes disasters and devastation like this to let us know all the angels that surround us every day.
And while they set to work with hammers and crowbars,
I'm trading myself.
Others' tool of choice was song.
We came out to kind of bring hope to the people.
Gail Johnson and members of Pleasant Hill Church of Deliverance came to the George R. Brown shelter to share prayers. They know that many people lost homes, but some are also missing church.
We need to pray. We need to pray for Houston, pray for one another, and become unified in the body of Christ.
But whether it's communicated through music or much harsher sounds, the message is the same. This tragedy is bringing the people of Houston closer together.
It just breaks down all the walls that we usually put up, They all come tumbling down.
The painstaking process of getting back to normal means deciding what goes and what can be salvaged.
All first floor is flooded, about 3.5 feet flooded.
Kambiz Pishkar and his family rode out Hurricane Harvey in the second floor of their Friendswood home.
I thought we were going to be just a couple of days, but we ended up being there for 5 days. And cooped up in 5 days in one small 3-bedroom and second floor. It was kind of getting,
Yeah, the piano was right there.
Close quarters with no electricity meant tensions rose along with the floodwater until 15-year-old Pega made a decision.
And Pega came downstairs and said, I want to play piano for you.
Her parents' favorite melody, a simple gift of calm in the storm.
I could hear it was kind of getting weird, but it was just something normal to do, and I wanted to make everyone happy and everyone just have something normal to do.
Unable to say goodbye just yet, the family moved the instrument into another room, doubtful it can be saved.
This is out of tune, so I can hear it, and it's kind of difficult. It's not sounding right.
Pega's parents, Iranian Americans who immigrated to the U.S. in their 20s, say despite their losses, the family is grateful.
The people that came in, that walked down the street, you need help, you want the sheetrocks out, you want the trash out, you want the furniture up. They came and helped us.
And I told her, I said, we're very lucky to live in such a country like this. And hopefully when she grows up, she can help other people.
Out of tune and possibly beyond repair, this piano will always serve as a reminder that a gesture of love can bring a measure of normal
On Telephone Road, the Great Divide, is ground clearance.
Big trucks, big SUVs.
The people getting off this neighborhood turned island haven't.
My Lincoln sits low to the ground, yes.
James Brown and Adrian Carter do not.
Stay in the middle, homegirl.
As the water recedes, both are anxious to get back to their jobs.
People driving through, though.
But ground clearance, and those who pushed its limitations.
I think it got water in there. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
That's what's holding them back. Until ground clearance came to them.
Want some chicken, man?
Refinery worker
That's right.
Stephen Clark drove in his truck to feed Telephone Road's island people.
Need some bread or water, anything? Give me some other.
I don't even know this man. This is my first time ever seeing him.
Y'all want some chicken?
You want a biscuit, baby?
Chantel Rayford rode along to help.
Here you go. Thank you.
It's bad. Thank God there's some angels around. Thank God for that.
Food for the hungry.
Thank you, ma'am, and God bless.
Bones for the lost.
All God's creatures need to eat.
A little goes a long way at a time like this.
About helping each other get back so we can get back on the right spot. Bless you, man. Bless you.
Stephen had both the heart
God bless you, baby, for that, for real.
and the ground clearance as hope answered the call.
We lift these people up, Lord. We lift Houston up.
On Telephone Road.
Lord, we looking at love.
Boyd Hoopert, KHOU 11 News.
Amen.
Houston.
We're going to be over here tomorrow, too, so don't worry.
This is the day Amanda Muir has dreamed of since she was 5 years old.
So excited.
From every picture-perfect detail, you'd think she planned for months.
It was definitely an adventure.
You'd never know she had just 5 days.
We have so many family friends that have their houses flooded right now.
Amanda and Caleb were supposed to get married in Houston today, but Hurricane Harvey made that impossible.
I was just heartbroken for everybody there.
As she watched her hometown flood, North Texas stepped up to help.
The florists.
Florist, cake,
geez.
venue, everybody.
Caleb is an Air Force pilot assigned to go out of state soon, and the wedding couldn't wait.
I believe that, the man upstairs, God, has kind of put that together.
Call it divine intervention, but she called Hidden Creek in Heath, which just happened to have a rare Saturday night opening, and rallied a team of vendors from there.
All right, let's make it happen. Let's do it.
I was like, wow, this is actually happening. After 5 days. It's so beautiful.
The cakes donated, the rest at steep discounts. Yes, it was a rush, but all of it coming together with love to give this couple the happiest day of their lives after some of their darkest.
I love this man, and he is the best person ever.
Caleb and Amanda know weddings are about love. For each other, for family and friends.
And I cannot wait to spend the rest of my life with him.
But theirs is also about community, coming together to rally around people when they need it the most. In Heath, Monica Hernandez.
It's just his hobby. Recreational pastime, if you will. Dr. Scott Breeze loves to fly. That is, when he's not saving lives.
Well, I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I'm an MD.
The doctor was not in the operating room, but at home when Harvey hit.
Where I'm standing right now is underwater.
That home, you see, quickly became an island. On land, he was stuck, so he got off the ground.
The helicopter is really cool because you can actually fly really slow and see stuff. You can land it in places where you certainly can't land airplanes.
Well, for the first few days, Dr. Breeze's priority was taking his wife in and out of work at her urgent care center. After that, he spent the next week helping anyone who needed it.
Livestock and things is a lower priority, but still it's pretty important.
For the most part, he helped neighbors find their cattle.
They just were looking to see if the cows were okay and where they were.
He helped rescue a friend's equipment from the floodwaters, and he brought peace of mind to a patient who just had knee surgery.
And I got to go make a little house call on my patient, and fortunately everything was fine.
And get this, he even helped the local mailman find his route.
It was paycheck time basically, and everybody gets their checks, every couple of weeks. He said it's really important. That's why he was down there finding a route for the mail. So
Dr. Breeze got a bird's eye view of the devastation. He saw firsthand the toll Harvey took. He says he's just happy that in his own way he could help, and maybe to some, be a hero.
maybe a couple people think I'm a hero, but I don't know if I'd go that far.
Standing for Houston, Janelle Bludick, KHOU 11 News.
It's truly amazing and inspiring to be a Houstonian right now.
What is Houston proud? Houston strong.
Oh yeah, we're proud of Houston. I am.
Houston proud, Houston strong, that's right.
Most definitely.
I think being a Houstonian is just giving love.
It's helping other people and fellow Texans.
We're proud of the fact that we love one another.
Saying, can I help you, ma'am?
To me, I think that
Even if you can't,
it's like really, what's the word?
put it into words.
I can't find the word for it, but it's just really something.
It's a feeling. Everything is going to be okay.
Houston is inspired. The colors represent the many colors of Houston. You see how they all kind of come together, and that kind of is what Houston is. We all come together, and that's exactly what we did this past week.
A lot of tough things have been going on in America, and it's great to see people come together. It's unfortunate it takes an incident like this to do it.
Heroes come in all shapes and sizes here.
Finding their loved ones, reuniting them, and getting people back to where they should be, their families.
There's the kind you recognize.
Everyone smiles when they see Spider-Man, and they're like, oh my God, are you real? And I say, absolutely I'm real. Would you like a sticker?
And sometimes the heroes here are the kind that surprise you.
Helping really, like folding the clothes, sending out the toiletries. Yesterday I did toiletries and I folded the laundry.
One of this city's heroes sacrificed his own life while trying to save others.
My heart goes out to the officer that lost his life.
Houston police officer Steve Perez killed while responding to Hurricane Harvey. In a city that's lost so much, it's crucial to hang on to the things that make us human. And even,
hey Cheryl, bring me that steak over there.
A smile.
This grill's ready to go.
If you can bring joy to people and they laugh, it's contagious.
Improv troupe Comedy Sports Houston opening their doors to evacuees.
You get hundreds of strangers in a room laughing at the same thing, and there's no problems in that room,
Yes, and is a crucial part of improv.
We don't let anybody fail. We don't let anybody fall.
And the same can be said for this community.
Just saying yes to people and saying, how can we help you? And I'm going to keep giving on top of it. It's a wonderful thing.
So if the spirit of a city is the strength of its people, what does it mean to be a Houstonian? If you ask them.
Houston proud.
Houston proud.
And just to give them a hug and say, ma'am or sir, it's gonna be okay. I love you. And that's
Houston proud. And Texas proud.
Did that answer your question?
With empty stomachs.
Hey y'all, we're serving beans over here if you'd like some.
And hearts full of compassion.
Hey guys, can I stamp you?
People came from around town and beyond, ready to eat for a cause.
Would you like vegetarian or hammy?
We can't go to Houston, so this is something that we can do to try to send money over there.
Any chance you get to have Shia cooking, whether it's he or she, why would you not come out?
The event, hosted by local chefs Alon and Emily Shia,
here you go,
was a red beans and rice dinner.
I have to say the red beans is really great.
Where money raised will help Texas families in the hospitality industry recover from Harvey.
People are showing up, and we're excited to have everyone out here and do something great for New Orleans and do something great for Houston. 100% of the proceeds that we're earning today is going straight to families that are in need.
Between the delicious food,
marinated zucchini a la Alon,
and fun games, people were heated up about lending a helping hand to Texas.
It's a great thing to see how quickly everybody has come together all the way over here to do something. It's heartbreaking to think of everything that they're going to go through over the next months and years.
And with a long road of recovery ahead,
give till it hurts.
Some like Joe Adams encourage others to do their part.
Even though we're not actually there, the fact that we're raising money for those people is very encouraging. I hope everybody pitches in, because I know how much it meant to my wife and I when we got help after Katrina.
The dinner helped raise thousands.
We're about at 12,000 right now. That's before anyone's walked in the door.
But while full, diners say they're hungry for more and will continue to give any way they can.
We just so want to do whatever we can to help them and to pay back what they did for us.
It froze people huddled inside Jan and Bill Wild's Atascocita garage just days after 9 feet of floodwater wrecked the place. 2 people with a crowbar broke in.
Just can't imagine what's next.
Jan's dad died last month. Then Harvey showed up.
I was standing here.
Jan's daughter, Lindsay Christie, was on her way to help until her house exploded and caught fire. Christie and her 1-year-old Rory got out in time, but like mom and dad, her family seemed to lose everything except one another. Jason's job flooded too, so he can't work. And half Christie's 5th grade class in Shepherd lost homes too.
We are really struggling with everything, and they don't have a home. We don't have a home. We're mourning the loss of my grandfather, and we have nothing.
That's where those burglars come in. They're actually friends. Amber, the woman you see in the middle, and her husband Michael, who took this picture, simply broke in to find and save family photos, treasured now more than ever.
It's all our memories. It's everything that we have. Our childhood, our friends, our old street, our Christmas, our entire family, our gatherings, vacations at the beach. You can just feel how much they loved us when you look at those pictures, and you know how much we've always meant to them, and they will just always hold the biggest spot in my heart.
So while loved ones raise money online to help,
Okay, baby. You'll be okay.
this family's greatest comfort lies in memories saved by friends. Standing for Houston, Larry Seward, KHOU.
Just when you think you know where life is taking you.
Yeah, curveballs.
One curveball after another.
The other side of the street is my subdivision.
Headed toward Murray Poloski.
Maybe I got lucky and there's no water in my house.
Yeah, there's water in his house.
It feels like I'm in a movie. It just does not feel real. How is this possible?
Curveballs, all right.
This is Carter Ryan, and this is Cameron James. They were born on their daddy's birthday, which was Friday.
Friday. Just as Harvey was about to change their world.
We'll be home in 48 hours. No big deal.
Oh, man.
The former Marine and his wife saved for years for this house.
Oh, my God, look at that. Those are pigs. Boar. Trying to escape.
Escape. Like their 2 older boys, 7-year-old Dylan and 4-year-old Drake, had to escape the flood while staying at their grandparents' house.
Sorry.
As Nicole's babies were born.
The most gut-wrenching moment as a mother, seeing a picture of your children getting on a boat and you're not there.
And that nursery back home.
The little onesies.
I got him.
Oh, makes me want to cry.
It's just stuff, Cole. It's just stuff.
As a mom, you want to give them the best entry into the world. And I think I just feel like I wasn't able to do that.
Baby clothes in a garbage sack in a neighborhood unlikely to be home again for a year.
It's tough, knowing how much she is hurting.
Yeah. Curveballs.
But they're going to have a birth story, that's for sure.
Carter and Dylan and Harvey.
I have those 2 little babies. Is what's really going to help us get through.
Standing for Houston, I'm Boyd Hoopert, KHOU.
I love to cook. My husband loves to cook too.
Even before the storm passed, Jackie Hertline's kitchen was brewing.
I guess one of the nights of the storm, and I was sitting on the couch. I had made some meals for one of my friends, and then I was like, I could do this for other people.
A teacher by trade and a mother to 11-month-old Brinley, Hertline took inspiration from her grandmother's love of cooking.
She always was the first one to deliver hoagies to everybody.
And started a GoFundMe page.
Within a few hours, it already hit $500. So I was just like, hey babe, I already raised $500. I'm gonna up it. And we tried to get JJ Watt's attention too on it because we kept hashtagging him on everything.
The page took off, 91 donations reaching $5,000, surprising even her biggest fan.
We were watching the storm TV, watching it outside, and all of a sudden she has thousands of dollars to cook meals.
On tonight's menu, chicken parmesan.
So like every time we go to the grocery store, we're feeding like 19, 20 people.
School may be back in session, but she's still cooking after class and using volunteers from Grace School to help.
Yeah, parents are stepping up, and while I'm at school, they're
coming to get meals for me and doing deliveries during the day.
An army of angels helping hurting families after the flood.
Just to make sure that we're putting a smile on somebody's face that really had a hard time, knowing that they've got a warm cooked meal, because I know after I worked a long day, that's the one thing I love coming home to.
An idea that started in one teacher's kitchen with a heart to serve.
This was the one way that I knew I could help people, was by making meals.
Standing for Houston, Grace White, KHOU 11 News. We're going to work. We're going to work. We work at the hospital. We're nurses. A blue hoodie and a black paddle. It's crazy. Few of the only items Morgan McCullough and her best friend Casey Aslan had with them that Sunday morning.
This is an Uber.
That and miraculously, a kayak.
If we're going to do this, we need to do this now. That's for back there.
The two nurses were scheduled to be on Team A, disaster response at Memorial Hermann.
You're here whenever the disaster hits. So I knew I would have to come in eventually.
And boy, did it hit.
This is the middle of the road.
What the nurses didn't plan for was it hitting them.
And so then we went out and looked at Kirby Drive, and all of that it probably would have been shoulder, chest deep on me.
Just kind of joked around, well, okay, so what, are we going to take a kayak to work? Like, how are we going to get to work?
They knew they were needed.
What if that was us? They've been up and working for 16 plus hours.
So they had no other choice.
Craziness. And we told our friends, we were like, you guys can come or you guys can stay, but we are kayaking to work.
With help, the two pumped up the kayak, strapped on the life vest, and pushed off. 45 minutes in the kayak, a few minutes walking, and then a ride from a random stranger. They were there.
I just remember like looking at Morgan, like, we just did this, like, we're here. Like, I felt like it was a scene out of some futuristic movie where the world ends. Like, that's honestly what it felt like. This is us this morning.
And today, they're back to work. It's like nothing ever happened.
I think it's still hard for me to grasp that we even did it.
But the nurses know that day is one they won't soon forget.
It was very surreal, like very eerie.
Did that count?
Nothing like family time
Aww.
at the campground.
No.
Which is nothing.
Ha. Got him.
Like this.
This is how we roll.
Rochelle and Jake Davis are still waiting for their Harvey house repairs as they RV it in their driveway.
Juliet. Titus. Emma.
With their 6
Taylor.
Kids.
Trace.
Justice Tatum Davis.
Tiny house living. You have to know, you get to know each other real well.
Okay, nobody's hiding anything around here.
No.
But if ever
Yep.
there's a time to be together, it's now.
No score. The Astros got one out.
Game 6 from the RV section.
Mom, watch this. Watch this.
300 square feet with an aunt and uncle thrown in for good measure, and every opportunity to reflect on what this team has meant to this town.
They're just survivors. They're fighters. They're survivors.
Well, I think it's just all of us.
With everything going on in Houston, this has given everybody something to rally behind. God knew that we needed a little blessing through all of this.
Yes, and they're just gonna have fun on the ride, however it ends.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of us. We're just gonna have fun on the ride.
Count the Davis family
Go Astros!
soundly in the Astros camp. Standing up for Houston, I'm Boyd Hooper.
Good job.
There have been a lot of surprising tributes to first responders on the front lines and salutes to some more unlikely Harvey heroes as well. Who would have thought that a meteorologist, not a firefighter, not a policeman, caught in the eye of the storm would win the admiration of the Houston area? Flooding that is occurring. This is a record event we've never seen before. For many during Harvey, If you live south of Memorial Drive, Jeff Lindner the ends of the dam, was the calm during the storm. We have never seen water this high. A meteorologist with the Harris County Flood Control District. Please leave those areas. This behind-the-scenes guy suddenly became a familiar face. A year later, Water will go around the end. Lindner is still talking about Harvey. All this water that comes out of Addicts and Barker goes into Buffalo Bayou. And the lessons learned.
What would you say is the thing that surprised you most about that storm?
The widespread nature of it. The flooding went from the Beaumont-Port Arthur area all the way down to the Victoria area. One of the biggest takeaways?
How do you deliver that information? How do you get it to people so they can make decisions on it?
So developments include new technology that will tell you how high floodwaters are near you.
Customizable real-time alerts to yourself from our gauge stations.
Harris County's flood warning website now has a real-time inundation map.
And so now we've put in this inundation mapping that shows the area that's being flooded from the creek or bayou and how wide that's getting. So you can find your house and you can see how close it's getting to your house. And it's our jobs to give people information so that they can make the best decisions to protect themselves, protect their families, and protect their property.
Also on that job, his wife, Lily, who works at the flood control district as well. How did Harvey impact her?
You know, we'll go places and people will recognize him, so.
I mean, the Wall Street Journal calls you the unlikely hero of Harvey.
It's still kind of overwhelming.
It was kind of mind-blowing.
Strangers set up a GoFundMe account to send him on vacation after the storm. We went with Linder as he donated that money to unsuspecting storm victims.
This is $1,000 to help you with your recovery.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Is that real?
Yeah, it's real.
Let me hug you, man. Thank you so much.
Some $24,000 went to flood victims at random.
$500. So here's $500 to help with your recovery and everything.
Oh my goodness, aren't you a sweet man?
So that's good news.
Just goes to show maybe how much we didn't realize at the time, how much Jeff was having an impact on certain people during that event.
Giving her favorite horse a quick bath is not newsworthy. But wait until you see Jessie Kopp's most recent brush with Mother Nature.
I don't know if they're gonna make it.
That is Jessie on horseback, pleading for help in this Facebook video.
We need help in Wharton, Texas, please.
As she and other volunteers saved more than 30 horses in one day from flooding in Wharton County.
The water ranged from about knee deep to over our heads.
After the water became too much for the horse's owner.
Yesterday morning, we woke up to 2 feet of water in the house.
This view of an incredible rescue from a drone belonging to our sister station, WFAA in Dallas. When Jessie learned the horses were in danger, she got to the scene quickly, coordinating with other volunteers before reaching the animals by boat.
Oh my God, there's a lot of horses. And the water was a lot colder than you'd think.
And from there, her instincts took over, helping guide these horses 1.5 miles to safety.
I think that was probably why I ended up getting on, because I certainly feel the most safe on a horse, and I'm the most in control of other horses when I'm on another horse.
Now's a good time to mention we've talked to Jessie before. She is a world champion playing football for the Houston Energy women's team. A world champion rider.
So all this water here is not supposed to be here?
Correct.
Now, back at her ranch, parts of which are still underwater, Jessie is still in amazement.
I mean, it gives me chills to think about all the people that have come together and put
What she'll remember most is not the force of Mother Nature, but the power of the people reacting to it.
Bound by their belief, the community of faith feels more like a family than a church.
People are suffering beyond our comprehension.
So where there's hurt, there's healing.
Thousands of the people have been through our doors.
On Sundays, Bishop James Dixon is now urging people to share their storm stories. Within this group that's lost their roofs, their cars, their jobs.
We need comfort.
Is the Ventura family.
It's bad. Our home is already weak because it's old. So I guess when the storm came, it just made it even 10 times worse.
Just look at the photos. That bed is soaked in floodwater. Walls look like they'd crumble at the touch. If the Ventura family needed a leg up before Harvey, after the storm,
they're gonna try to rebuild our house, rebuild the whole house.
The only thing that can fix this,
best news I've ever heard,
is a miracle.
It's a relief.
Bishop Dixon is working with a local builder to give the family a safe place to live. The church put them up in a hotel for now.
I know, they make you feel like family here. It's wonderful.
Or incredible, knowing this is the family's first time to community of faith. You see, Bishop Dixon heard the Ventura's storm story through a church member. And while the church can't swing a brand new home for everyone in need, members are trying to find ways to help.
To say to a person, I'm praying for you, and they're hungry, that's good. But now, how about being the answer to that person's prayer?
Because now they're backed by a family so much bigger than they ever thought possible. Standing for Houston, Melissa Correa, KHOU 11.